All right, welcome everyone. Sunday morning Tinkle. We have a ring update. Tom Brady just lost another ring. So now Giselle has joined Nick Foles and Eli Manning as the only ones to take rings from TB12.
Yeah, kind of crazy after 13 years of marriage that he decided that football was a lot more important than his wife and his kids.
Oh, well. But anyway, coming up, we're going to talk the World Series. We're going to talk NFL trade deadline. We've also got some news on Luka, and some new stadiums in the NFL, as well as our Week 8 picks. But we begin with the rundown. I forget. We should have asked that question before we started.
I'm pretty sure it's you starting off this week.
All right.
I think it was last week.
Well, here we go. So I gotta start. I wish I brought a broom down with me when I came down here. But the Houston Astros have swept the New York Yankees to move on to the World Series. It's their third appearance since 2017, and the Yankees, they have yet to beat the Astros in the AL playoffs. So, I just gotta say, I just gotta say, take that, because guess what? Y'all ran your mouths all season. And then every time we bounce back with, well, you guys are going to lose to the Astros, your only argument is, well, we have 27 World Series. How many does your team have? Okay, sorry, your argument, new rule, if you argue that, I'm calling you a Cowboys fan, okay? Sorry. Okay, until you win a World Series today, like in today's baseball, I'm going to keep calling you that. So take it. I don't care. And if you're not a Cowboys fan, you hate the Cowboys, then I suggest you just stop making the World Series comparisons. Even certain Dolphins fans don't drag on saying 17-0. Has your team ever gone perfect?
Yeah, that's very true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't.
I mean, they really wanted to, but they never do.
Yep. We don't live in the past, okay? We don't live in the 1900s. I'm going to say a comment right now that I said that's going to catch a lot of heat. But, okay, the Yankees' history is all in the 1900s, and it's long past, just like half the players that won you those World Series. All right.
It's true.
Yeah, okay, Aaron Judge, it's all right, guys. He's going to leave for San Fran, from what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but rumor has it he's between San Fran and the Mets. So, yep, he don't want to be back there. Anthony Rizzo opt out. So,
who knows? He could end up going back to Chicago.
I doubt it, but who knows? Honestly. But yeah, it's clearly those guys don't want to play for the Yankees. Clearly they know they can't win a World Series, and hey, good for them to leave the Yankees. One well-respected player, another one, going to be the MVP of the league.
Right.
But, all right.
Certainly, definitely a major choke, I think, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Astros, yes, they have been really good and have showed it the last few, times going to the World Series. But the thing is that I think it's more so a major choke of the Yankees, because they're so good that they shouldn't have gotten swept by a team that, like the Astros. So, hate to say it.
We got washed Aroldis Chapman in the closer role. You had Nasty Nestor that you called him all year. You had Garrett Cole, who got rocked in, I believe, Game 2 or Game 3. Okay. Just terrible decisions all around, And then, like I said, you let Verlander run all over you guys in Game 1. So, And like I said, I point out the playoffs because the playoffs, what happened to Aaron Judge? It's like he absolutely shut down in the playoffs.
Who knows?
No offense, Jason, but he looked like Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, okay?
I mean, honestly, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been that great ever since his championship run, so it's alright.
Yeah, but alright. Well, I gotta talk about my team after this. Chargers were wiped by the Seahawks. A team, I don't want to call them a fluke, but a team that was believed to be tanking this year. Barely 4-3. Again, I say barely because 2 of those games they did win sloppy, but this one was convincing.
Right.
You know, Herbert just don't look like himself. I was watching a clip from Speak, and I forget what his name is, that one guy who temporarily hosted The Bachelor, too. I don't watch it, but it'll come to me, I'm sure. Oh, Jeremy Ocho, or whatever his name is. Oh, wait, Emmanuel Ocho. That's it, Emmanuel Ocho. He came out on Speak on FS1 and basically said, well, you know, it was a question of whether Justin Herbert was overhyped or overrated. Well, now you can say he's both. Have you seen the injury report? Not, and again, I've said on this show before, you know, injuries can't be an excuse. But you look at the Chargers, and I don't want to use the injuries as the main excuse. But I will just point out, the O-line's been banged up all year. Okay. Lindsley's been hurt from the get-go. Slater's out for the year. You add in as well, Mike Williams broke his ankle in that game. Joshua Palmer's out indefinitely. Jalen Guyton's out indefinitely. And then we still haven't gotten Donald Parham back. Okay, so, and then add in Keenan Allen's hamstring that's been, you know, nursed for 8 weeks so far. I don't want to use that excuse too much, but I will say that it does play a big factor in what Justin Herbert can do. Because at the end of the day, of course Austin Eckler's numbers are going to look good because he's the only star on that offense outside of Herbert.
Right.
Okay. You know, I will admit he's struggling and he doesn't look like a top 10 quarterback right now like he did last year. But I guarantee you, and I'm willing to place that bet right here, that when those guys come back and come back healthy, he's going to be that guy again.
Possibly. I mean, if your team is supposed to be really, really good and have a deep roster, then you should still be able to win games even with guys coming in. And I get it that the Chargers have a lot of guys hurt, especially the wide receiver core. So it's kind of tough when you have four of your main receivers hurt, and then you're playing basically practice squad guys or rookies and something like that. Guys that never really played one single NFL game their whole entire career. Yeah, it's tough to win games, but I mean, if you have such a deep roster and can try to go after guys that can stay healthy, then you should still be able to play well. I mean, I agree. As far as the last statement goes, I think injuries can definitely be to blame. I don't want to say Herbert's overrated whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, he hasn't been really the best well-known quarterback as of late, and it really hasn't screamed like that he can really help a team get over the hump, but that's also because the Chargers in a whole and organization, I think that the training staff is also to blame here because they can't help keep these guys healthy, and that these receivers are also to blame because they're not there to help produce and get points for this team that desperately needs win right now.
When nobody can get open and all you can do is running back screens because Eckler's your legitimate only receiver that can catch the damn ball, of course Herbert's numbers are going to look pretty bad. Okay? He's not going to throw a deep shot down to the kick returner. You know, and then Everett's, you know, I'm still upset with what Everett did in that Chiefs game. That costed us the win big time by throwing that pick six, but you just, I don't know. They've got to figure this whole mess out. First off, start by firing the training staff, the athletic trainers, because clearly the workout routines that they're getting aren't helping them.
Right.
Okay, that's number one, what I'd do. Again, you know, the coaching staff can definitely take quite a bit of blame. I mean, the defense is horrendous. The fact that you allowed Kenneth Walker to run, what was it, 63 yards for a touchdown? Unacceptable. Okay, unacceptable. Then, like I said, I think we're 32nd in run defense right now because we're too focused on trying to beat Patrick Mahomes, and we're a game back in the division. Okay.
I don't know, honestly. It's really rough with the Chargers right now. I mean, the Seahawks have been surprising, you know, a lot of people this year. Yeah, they're 4-3, but I mean, it's interesting to see.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they're leading the division right now too, but nothing could be worse than the NFC South. I hate to say it.
Boy, the NFC South is the new NFC least.
Yeah.
At this point. But going off the NFC least, how's about we focus on the AFC East? And we got to focus on this quarterback battle, because this quarterback battle might be the most intriguing one I think we've ever seen in our lives. And the reason I say it, 1 minute it's Mac Jones, the next minute it's Bailey Zappi, I mean. Okay, it's
right.
clear Bill Belichick can't make up his mind on either one right now. You know, Mac Jones has shown flashes. He's shown, you know, flashes that he can be that guy, but not as of late. And then, of course, you got Bailey Zappi, who's essentially that guy right now. But I don't want to say too much on Bailey Zappi because, you know, we've seen Tim Tebow. This could be another Tebow mania type situation or a Linsanity type situation.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, that whole game against the Bears for them looked really bad. Because Zappi, yes, he went in there and scored 2 touchdowns, but that was the only 2 touchdowns they had in the whole entire game. They lost pretty badly. And to my knowledge, it was like 31-14. Yeah. So you're really telling me that Zappi could just go in there for two scoring drives, and that's all he can produce?
Yeah.
That's not what, you know, coaches are looking for. You know, I hate to say it, nothing against Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, but both of these quarterbacks are struggling. This whole team is struggling. They're not as good, and I knew that this was going to happen to the Patriots. They're not as good as everybody thinks that they are. I really do think that last year was a big fluke of a year, and it's showcasing. Because this team is what, right now, 3-5? So it makes you think that last year was a big fluke, and that Patriots might end up being under 500 for the first time in a long time.
But I feel like Bailey Zappi is their best option right now. If they want to win games,
firepower under that offense than Mac Jones. Mac Jones is not really that great of a passer, but Bailey Zappi can actually throw the ball downfield and get production, and I think he just brings a different kind of energy to that offense.
And he uses his different reads. He doesn't just go, you know, like, he doesn't force it. He doesn't make, you know, he does make mistakes, but it's just like, you know, between the two, the lesser of two evils, I would say it's Bailey Zappi right now. You know, and I just don't get why Belichick didn't stick with the hot hand in the first place here. You know?
I don't know, because if you look at Belichick, he knows that if a quarterback's going to struggle here, he's going to go with the guy that got him to the race last year, and that was Mac Jones. So, and the Patriots were in a case like this last year where they started off rough and then still made playoffs. So maybe Bill Belichick knows something that we don't know, and maybe he thinks, well, you know what, if we could do it last year, why can't we do it this year? Yes, we're 3-5, but the season's still young. It's still not over with yet. Maybe we can win a lot of football games to get back into the wild card race.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe that's the plan.
I wouldn't necessarily write off New England just yet. Here's the thing. I mean, and again, we know Belichick hasn't been that good without Brady. This year, Brady hasn't been that good without Belichick and without Bruce Arians. But,
yeah, that's very true.
Like I said, I don't want to say to give up on the Mac Jones experience, but I would say you definitely got to go with Bailey Zappi, at least for now. I mean, I'm not, Mac Jones needs more time, I think. I just don't think he's ready to be that guy just yet.
Yeah, he definitely, this is only his second year, so,
yeah.
He definitely needs some time to progress. As far as should they deal the other quarterback, I don't know what quarterback you're talking about because they do have 3.
I'm talking between, whichever one they start, whether it's Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones, do they deal the other?
No, I don't think so at all. Yeah. If there's any quarterback that they can deal out, it's probably Brian Hoyer, if anything.
And Brian Hoyer's worth literally nothing. His value depreciates. You literally got to trade a bag of chips just to get him gone. Okay.
They can really trade him away for like a late round draft pick at this point.
Yeah. What I will say is, Mac Jones could draw some value. And the other argument you could make, and again, I'm not trying to use this as an excuse, but Mac Jones doesn't have receivers, okay? And then the tight end he doesn't know how to use. Bailey Zappi, same thing, no receivers, but he knows how to use the tight ends.
And if you think about it, the Patriots have probably 2 of the better ones anyway. They have
Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith.
Right exactly. Now. 2 of the best well-known tight ends and can get you production in the red zone if you get there.
But again, I will say, to wrap it up, it makes you wonder that if they just go and do like what the Dolphins did, like many of the AFC teams did, and they go out there and get 2 solid receivers, not that it would ever happen because I don't think anybody wants to play for Belichick right now. But maybe, just maybe, Mac Jones is 2 receivers away from that prove it, that he's going to prove it sort of guy.
Last little statement I have here is when we all thought that when they went out in free agency and got all these guys, we thought, oh, wow, Patriots might be scary. They might actually have the team to do something. And then all you do is get into the wild card and lose. But, hey, as far as that's it for that, I would think, probably, right?
We'll see. This is just my last thing as well. My thought was, year 2, Mac Jones could be that breakout star. We saw articles about him, out there researching the play. He was studying playbooks to no end. And this is the guy who beat Cam Newton by a mile for the starting job. But, maybe he is just a receiver away, or 2 receivers away from being that guy.
We'll definitely happen to see if they actually do something like that.
But with that, I rest my case and I end my takeaways. So,
okay. So as on to mine, Luka Doncic has always really been that player. The first 4 years in the league, he is, seasons in a row. He's always been in that discussion to be one of the better known players in the NBA. Well, this year he's just on a tear. He's had 35, 32, 37, and 41 points. The other night he had 41 points against the Nets, a team who is 1-4 right now. which is insane to think about with a team with Kyrie and Kevin Durant being 1-4. I mean, I should have also had that. I guess we'll ask that question a little bit later. But as far as Luka Doncic, Mavericks are 2-2. But if you look at the 2 games that they lost, they didn't lose badly. They actually lost within a couple points. So this team is poised to probably have a decent year. They've been able to, be competitive with every team that they've played so far. I mean, they crushed the Grizzlies. They beat the Nets. They, came close against the Suns and came close against the Pelicans. These are 4 teams that could be in that top discussion for, playoffs this year. If you look at this, are the Mavs a sleeper?
It's, you could argue that, and it's too early to tell for sure.
I know it is very early to tell, but if you look at Luka's poised to have one of his best seasons to date. And I know it's early, and it's 4 games in, but this is a man that honestly took over, European basketball during the summertime, and now is coming into the NBA and doing the same damn thing. He's taking over the NBA and taking over, trying to be one of the top scorers this year. It's crazy. How this man has never been in the MVP discussions until this year, it just blows my mind because I knew it was eventually going to happen that he was going to be in that discussion. So I think he's definitely an early favorite, but it's still a little early to tell. But if he can stay healthy and play possibly all 82 games, I think he can definitely be in that discussion. Just, Luka, please, for the love of God, stay healthy. Whatever you have to do, even if it means you have to do reduced minutes, maybe pass the ball a little bit more, because you do have other players. You have Dinwiddie, and you have Wood, and you have other players around you. Just, please, for the love of God, do anything you can to stay healthy.
Yeah, seriously.
But, yeah, going on to the next takeaway. It has been in this discussions. They've talked about it. Well, now they officially released the new renderings for the new stadium. And I tell you, Brian, this new stadium looks like it's going to be very, very nice. It's going to be kind of all plexiglass around the stadium.
Plexiglass, steel. I think bricks, they said, as well.
It's going to be a little bit stronger of a stadium than the one that they got right now. See, the thing about it is, I do like that at least the 300s are going to be covered. But if you're talking about Buffalo and how cold it gets, I get it. They use that temperature and that surrounding to their advantage, especially when it gets closer to the colder weather. But if you're Buffalo and you know the kind of winters you get, you want to have it as an enclosed stadium that you could open up the roof if you also wanted to. Come on now.
I mean, see, and I did my research before this, but I will say the Bills, number one, weren't looking to host a Super Bowl at this stadium. It's clear that they are, the city of Buffalo, the politicians there felt it's just not feasible.
Money to host a Super Bowl anyway.
Yeah. So that's just not going to happen, unfortunately. But, what I will say is this stadium as well, I was watching One Bills Live, this clip from earlier, or yesterday rather. They were talking about this stadium will go from Highmark being 30 feet below sea level, 30 feet underground, to being, I believe, 10 feet underground. So they believe that's going to eliminate a lot of the wind that the fans have felt. So they believe now it's not climate controlled, but there won't be the wind that, the wind won't be a factor for the fans as much.
It would be nice. But I feel like that's what brings in a lot of the advantage of being the home team, is because you're used to that. And but it will be easier for the home team if they don't have to worry about the wind as much. So who knows?
Yeah.
To say it, it's
No.
still you're still gonna have to deal with weather, regardless if it's higher off the ground or lower to the ground.
Yeah.
So,
And the other thing I like too, and when they were talking about the design, is the concourse is going to be wide open compared to Bill's Stadium, where it's kind of, or Highmark, where it's more indoors than anything else. So you won't miss a minute of the action going to stand in line to get your chicken wings or going to get your $13 tall boy beer. So
yeah,
which I like that too. So there's things about it I like. And I like the wind not being a factor because you and I are going to the Jets game next month, and we know how cold it potentially could be. Of course, I don't want to talk about that now, and it's 60 degrees out.
Oh, I know. And honestly, I will say that, like, the wind is definitely a factor. Honestly, what I do like about the stadium is, like, the statues that they're going to have outside is going to have, like, buffalo statues, which is going to be cool to, see. I'm very curious to know, like, where the Bills store is going to be in. I would assume it's going to be, like, somewhere to the side of the stadium because,
I'm wondering if they're just going to do multiple, like, shops, kind of like the Dome does, the Carrier Dome, where there's, like, 2 or 3. But, like I said, I like the design.
Like the stadium is going to be more, like, they're going to have more of the things that would be technically outside. They're probably going to have that at least more inside, which is not a bad thing. I'm very curious to see what the stadium is going to look like. Now, I will say, there's another new stadium that's coming out that also released their renderings. It's the Tennessee Titans, which I didn't even think that they were in discussion for a new stadium until it came out. It does look nice. It does look a little bit more futuristic with the design and everything like that. But did you have to take a dig at the Buffalo Bills on that scoreboard with a stiff arm to Josh Norman? Come on now.
Hey, when that's your biggest play in the last, handful of years, I guess you got to keep going with it, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
But I will say, so this one is intended to host the Super Bowl. That's why the Titans want a new stadium. They want Nashville to host a Super Bowl in a few years. So that is why they have to go domed.
Which I guess wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, regardless if it's domed or covered or not, I still think that they probably could have hosted. I mean, it's decently warm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
But even if it's not during that time, I mean, they do want to plan on hosting a Super Bowl, which fine. I mean, they could probably be late, Super Bowl 60 or Super Bowl sometime around that time, hosting the Super Bowl. So who knows? It does look nice. I like the inside. The outside just doesn't look good. I don't think it's better than the Buffalo Bills design, to be honest with you, but the inside does certainly look nice.
I think it looks good. Again, this is to host a Super Bowl in the future, which I like as well. Nashville, keep in mind, can host, I feel like they could host a Super Bowl. They're a big enough city. I know right now, going to the out of turn 4 aspect, they are hosting the Nashville GP every single year for the NTT IndyCar series. And they do that around the Nissan Stadium that is the Titans' home right now. So, as of now, though, at least on that end, there's no update of whether that track's going to remain after the construction, but, time will tell. But, man, what a party it would be if they get the Super Bowl. And I think, if they get the Super Bowl, you're going to see country artists perform, which would be a much better solution than having rap. I'm sorry, to those out there who love listening to it.
I would have to agree. I would like that a little bit better than what they have been doing, hip-hop, rap, and all other stuff. So
not our
I think I think you would be right. It wouldn't even... It'd be cool to see, like, Blake Shelton or somebody like that. or somebody that's well known to the Nashville area to, compete.
If
or not compete.
Do it while Dolly's alive. Come on. You can't go to Nashville and not have Dolly Parton perform the halftime.
Oh, goodness.
I'm sorry, you can't. Okay? She is Nashville. She embodies everything that's, country music. And I'm not a country music fan, but she's royalty. But,
right. I mean, we honestly could be, it could happen. Who knows? Of course, they haven't gotten a bid for the Super Bowl quite yet, so we don't know.
They still got to break ground, too, and get this all finalized.
That's true, too.
So, but
see, at least the Bills got this all finalized and got the renderings, and they'll be building the stadium, I think, after the season or something like that, if I remember.
They're starting to work on it.
Yeah. So, at least it was that. As far as the Tennessee Titans, I would assume that they still had to get approved for all this. Yes, they had the renderings, but they still had to get all approved and everything, and get the financial situation all taken care of before it does get approved. So I don't know what is truly going on with that, but at least the Bills have gotten it all approved from the city of Buffalo and Erie County. So at least they have that all under control. They just have to, they got the renderings. They just had to eventually, tear up the ground, start building it. So very soon, in games in the future, you're going to see, probably them taking care of it. I don't know if they would still be working on it during the season, like not this season, but for seasons to come. It's all get made up, but it'll be interesting to see the progression of this, throughout the years before it does become built. Because I think it's supposed to be ready by at least 2024, 2025-ish.
I heard 2026 is when it'll open, so
who knows?
But, alright. That, though...
Let's go into our...
Yeah, let's go into break. When we come back, some NFL news. We'll predict the World Series as well as Week 8 of the NFL. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Alright, welcome back. So, a big trade happened this week. I haven't really been keeping up on many of the trade rumors, but Robert Quinn, the Bears tackle, has been traded to the Eagles for some draft picks, and now the Eagles are rumored to pursue Alvin Kamara, so they are not done pursuing players right now. So I guess that poses the question, after the Robert Quinn deal, I guess I want to dig deeper too. Does this solidify, one, the perfect season, and number two, does this put them now at the top of the Super Bowl threats in the NFC, if they weren't already?
It very well could. I mean, it's going to help solidify that defense a lot more. If they get Kamara, honestly, I think it's going to be an upgrade from Miles Sanders, for sure. But it's even if they actually do get Kamara, because I think the Saints at this point are just looking to rebuild this team and trying to get rid of everybody. It wouldn't shock me if Michael Thomas is also going to be on that list of eventually leaving the team soon, because he hasn't been all that great ever since his injury, honestly. It's sad to see, but...
Yeah, I think it's time for new blood in New Orleans, starting with Chris Olave there. But...
Right.
As far as the Kamara deal, I don't think I see that happening, to be honest. At least not this year. I think maybe in the offseason we might see a Kamara deal put together.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't see the Eagles going after him. I think they're very well content with what they got right now. Plus, they might have to give up a lot for Kamara, because Kamara literally is the Saints' best option right now. So,
I don't know. I don't want to jump the wagon either on the 17-0, train. But
the road to it looks a lot more clear than like another team, honestly. If you look at all the teams that they're facing coming up forward, other than maybe a few teams that have doing good, like the Giants are 6-1. I mean, not gonna say that like the Eagles couldn't beat them at least once, but Giants are not gonna be a super easy team for them to beat, I feel like. So who really knows if they can go perfect, go perfect? But I do think that they're gonna be undefeated for at least a good amount of time because a lot of teams that are coming up. But if you look at it, the Eagles, have they really even faced off against any good teams this year? I mean,
that's
the real discussion I have too.
I mean,
is
they
like
beat the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have been on a roll. Like I said, they barely eked out the Vikings or the Lions, who were that team, that was number one in offense. But, you look at the rest of their schedule ahead, their next big challenge that I would even consider a challenge, I think they could get to 15, I think they could get to 14-0, 15-0. They really don't face anybody that stands out as like a Super Bowl contender.
The Giants.
And I don't consider the Giants that Super Bowl contender either, so...
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that the Eagles like road to perfection could very well like be a lot easier than a lot of people think. But as far as being Super Bowl threats, they could. I think that they'll probably be there. They look like the most composed, well put together team of any of the NFC teams right now. I mean, nothing against the Vikings. I think the Vikings will definitely be in the playoffs this year for the first time in a while. But I don't think that they're Super Bowl threat unless they just, hit guns blazing the rest of the year. I mean, they do have Justin Jefferson and Thielen. If they can honestly both end up being really good, who knows? If I had to, like, as far as Kamara, I don't see it happening. Probably until, like you said, I agree with probably after the season. As far as the Kansas City Chiefs there, landing Kadarius Toney, that's kind of interesting itself. I don't think they even really needed a receiver to my
Toney. That's interesting, honestly. And to be honest, I thought if anything, Kenny Golladay was going to get dealt, because I know Kenny Galladay's been kind of disappointed with his role in the on the roster there.
You know what's interesting here? Wasn't Juju Smith-Schuster's like number 19 on the Steelers?
Yeah.
How come he's wearing 9?
Maybe 19 was his choice.
He could have worn. I know, but still. But this could have been a runner-up for Tinkle on this. Of course, Actually, speaking of it, I hope you know that.
Yeah, I'm aware. So.
Of course, there was trouble. We're gonna have one for it. But this could have been a runner-up. Did you see that Kadarius Toney tattooed his old number on his back, 89? Now he's 19.
He's going to have to get that tattoo fixed.
Hey, bud, you probably shouldn't have tattooed that number on your back if you knew you were not going to have 89 forever. And you should have knew that NFL's a business. You ain't going to stick around on the same team for the entirety of your career unless you're like that damn good of a player.
Yeah. Or that loyal, but
exactly. So
I don't think it changes anything for the Chiefs, though. To be honest, I still don't see him as the perennial Super Bowl threat.
I will say his route running's great. I think that he can bring a different kind of directive to the Chiefs, because he's very tough to take down even when he was on the Giants. But I think he'll definitely get higher production probably with the Chiefs than he did with the Giants. But honestly, I don't know if he's going to really bring them to the promised land like a Tyreek Hill. But time will only tell. As far as what they got now, so if you look at their weapons, they have Juju Smith-Schuster, Mecole Hardman, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They have Kadarius Toney. I mean, they got some all right guys. I mean, they have Robinson too. I mean, guys that, if you think about it, they have some speedsters, which really has been what helps this Chiefs offense out so much, is having these speedsters. It's not like they're like, the best catchers in the world, but they are speedsters. Once they catch that ball, gone. But
yeah, but
Kadarius Toney, I don't think he's really a speedster. I think he's more of a route runner. So
we'll see. But let's begin with the picks. With that, the World Series. So you mentioned the Astros. Well, the Phillies have defeated the Padres to advance to the World Series. Unlikely turn of events there, because of course the Phillies fired Joe Girardi at the beginning of the season, and then of course now they are on their new manager. I forget his name, but man, the city of Philly, they tried to grease up those light poles, and these guys still found their way on them.
Yeah, I don't know what's all about that, but hey, congratulations to the Phillies getting there for the first time since 2009. I think I remember when they were in the World Series in 2009.
And they lost to the fucking Yankees, but...
Oh, did they really?
I guess, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Now we can make our predictions, probably. Of course, we don't know what happened Friday night. We're recording as the game is starting, so... Jason, what do you think here? How many games and who wins?
I'm going to say at least 6 games, and I'm probably going to go with the Phillies over the Astros, honestly. I mean...
Yeah, I think everyone wants Bryce Harper to win a World Series. I'm indifferent, I'm not a Yankee fan, obviously, so I don't hate the Astros irrationally. I think the Astros got their punishment for the most part, but I will say I think they're out there to prove people wrong, especially after what happened, in 2017 with that whole trash can banging scandal.
Right.
So, that said, I think the Astros in 5, honestly. I'm willing to say it's going to be a very short series. Again, I feel like the Phillies are there. I feel like, listen, nothing against Philadelphia. I think they're there. But what I will say is that it was a magical run. They definitely have stuff to build off of for this year. But I just don't think that magical run's going to continue. Yeah, the Astros swept the Yankees for a reason.
Right.
But,
very true, too.
As long as they have that core, I think they're the most dangerous team in the league.
But it makes you think if, the Astros are that good, or the Yankees were just that bad. See, that I guess time will tell in this World Series.
Yeah.
If the Astros were really that good, or the Yankees were just that bad. So I guess we'll happen to see in this World Series, because if Phillies start off and go 2 or 3 games ahead of the Astros right there off the bat, then it's going to be Astros, your road was a little too easy heading to the World Series, and then you go up against the Phillies and then you crumble. So who really knows?
Yep. With that, though, speaking of terrible game, let's talk about terrible games now. The last London game of the season, thank God, because again, I'm going to double down and say that they need to stop going to London in the regular season.
I agree, but Jacksonville is, that's their home away from home, though.
Yep, pretty much the London Jaguars and the Denver Broncos. The first ever ESPN Plus exclusive game.
I don't know if I like that. Because not a lot of people have ESPN Plus, so and in that I could care less about it anyway, but still.
And that game's gonna make people want to get ESPN Plus. Give me a break. So Jags favored by 2.5, though.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville usually does very well in London, so I'm gonna have to go with the Jags.
I'm gonna go with the Jags too. I just don't think Denver's that team right now. I think they're going to fall to 2-6. Panthers, Falcons. Falcons favored by 4.
I'm going to have to go with the Falcons. I mean, there's a reason why they're leading the division right now, and I think that they're going to do it again. I think they're going to win this game, and they're going to still have that division lead at 4-4. Plus, they're 2-1 at home, and Panthers are 0-2. Panthers just don't have it, have it going for them right now. The Falcons, they're very up and down, but I really do think that the Falcons are going to get this win here.
I think it's going to be the Panthers. I mean, they took it to Tampa Bay last weekend. They didn't even allow them to score.
This is where I wanted to say this about the Bucs, and before we go on to the next game. How much of it is Tom Brady and everything distraction-wise than it is the actual team itself? Because, yes, they lost to the Panthers, but I hate to say it, this team is just dealing with a lot of distractions outside of the team, and it's causing problems within the organization, and I think that's why they've lost 3 games in a row. So, yeah. All right, Bears and Cowboys.
Yep, Bears, Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 10, and I don't like that.
I know, especially since they just came off of a dominating win against the Patriots. But as far as this game goes, it's tough to tell. I mean, I might have to go with the Cowboys, but don't be shocked that the Bears, go up and go to Dallas and cause some havoc there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cowboys. I think last week's win was a fluke. I still don't buy Justin Fields, and I don't buy him as a franchise quarterback. So,
yeah, I don't either. Honestly, I think it was just like a lucky win on Sunday night or Monday Night Football against the Patriots.
Just good strategy, but this game could be very intriguing now because the Dolphins and the Lions, again, you'd think a shoo-in. With Miami favored at 3.5, a less than generous over-under there. Or, I mean, less than favorable line, I should say. But DeAndre Swift is back now, fully healthy.
I don't think that's going to mean any sort of difference at all. I mean, yeah, the Dolphins haven't had the best run defense either, so he probably will have a field day against them, but the real problem is that Lions defense. That Lions defense gives up the most points of any team in the whole entire NFL. So, and the Dolphins have a very high-powered offense. I mean, they also have 2 of the better, well-known receivers. I just think that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to have a field day against the Lions. I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins, and I just don't see the 3.5 mark. I think it's going to be a little bit higher than that. The Dolphins' defense, yes, it hasn't really been the greatest of all time all year, but honestly, I really do think that they're going to hold well against the Lions, who I know are one of the better, well-known offensive teams, but I just don't think that, this game's going to be as close as I think it is.
I'm going to say Miami, but sorry, I think it's going to be a close one. I think DeAndre Swift coming back, it's going to take the pressure off of Jared Goff. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who went out with the concussion that wasn't a concussion, he's going to be back as well. So I feel like, they can run the table here. I think they can definitely give Miami a run for their money, especially at home.
Right.
So, but I just don't think they win. Cardinals, Vikings, Minnesota favored by 3.5.
See, I might have to go with the Vikings. Nothing against the Cardinals and the receiving core that they have now. Robbie Anderson, DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Brown, or not A.J. Brown, A.J. Green, and who else did they have? Oh gosh. Oh, Hollywood Brown.
but he's on IR.
Oh, that's right. He's on IR for the rest of the year. Hence why they.
Well, for 5 weeks minimum.
But I just don't think the Cardinals have it going this year. Murray hasn't been all that great all year long. Vikings just have it going this year, even though Cook and Jefferson and Thielen haven't had the best year so far. But the Vikings just get it going and win games. So I think they're going to win another one here.
I'm going to go with the upset. I think DeAndre Hopkins coming back in this offense for the Cardinals. I think they're going to turn the corner finally. I think this is where they're going to start running down the Seahawks in that division. And I feel it starts here with the Vikings. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. I feel like they're going to have the reverse of what they've done the last few years where they start out hot and then choke it away.
Right.
So
they're going to start off bad and then start winning games and getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think it'll be a deep run, but I think they'll make it at this point. Raiders Saints. This is Dennis Allen's chance to beat his old team, but Vegas is favored by 1.5.
And so Saints are playing the starter for the rest of the year, poor James Winston. That man just gets absolutely no luck anywhere he goes. But I just don't know if I like... Oh, actually, you know what? I do like that it's Las Vegas. I just don't see the Saints being all that great this year. I mean, hence why they're 2-5. Raiders, haven't been that great either, and they haven't won a game on the road. But I think this is where it's going to end for them. I think they're going to get the win on the road here against the Saints. Saints just don't have it going this year at all. So I'm going to say the Raiders, and it wouldn't be shocking me if it's even closer than the 1.5.
I think this is where Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, they're going to get their confidence up, honestly. Unfortunately, I got to go Raiders in this one. I feel like, just again, they're going to get their confidence up. Josh Jacobs is playing like a man who deserves a big contract extension right now, despite how bad they're playing.
After that game that he had, he was the main reason why they even won that game last week. It was because he had 3 rushing touchdowns and over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah. But all right. Yeah, but with that, though, Patriots favored by 2.5.
I don't know if I like that the Patriots are the overdog in this game. I think they should be honestly the underdog. The Jets are looking pretty good right now. Yeah, and the Patriots just don't have it going. They don't have any confidence. I think they're going to lack confidence heading into this game. Mac Jones, I think, is going to struggle again, especially against this Jets team that their defense is actually really rocking right now with rookie sensation Sauce Gardner. So I just think that I really do think that the Jets are going to win this game, and I think it's going to be the defense that helps them.
I feel like the 2.5 would be appropriate if it was Bailey Zappi starting. So I'm going to go with the Jets, though. Again, defense is rocking, but no Breece Hall.
I do, I know. But they do have James Robinson. This is going to probably be his first game with the Jets here. So, and James Robinson, remember the kind of year he had last year for the Jags? I think that with the Jets, I think he's going to resurge into, past dominance, and I think he's going to do really well with the Jets.
Yeah,
I mean, look what Breece Hall did. So I think James Robinson can have that same success.
See, that's a trade we forgot about. But Steelers, Eagles, Philly favored by 11. I think we both kind of know who we're going with here. Do we need to explain it?
Steelers are just not that good this year. They could have honestly had a chance to win, but with no TJ Watt at the helm, they just are struggling. right now. That defense is just not that good. The offense is even worse. The Eagles just have it going right now, so definitely Eagles, and I think they're going to crush the Steelers.
Yeah, I agree here. Eagles going to crush them. They'll win the Battle of Pennsylvania, the one battle that everyone in Pennsylvania can get behind in the next couple weeks. So, hey, I'm sorry I had to go election joke there, but yeah, with that, Titans favored by 2.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Titans here. Sorry, Texans fans, but Lovie Smith. It wouldn't shock me if you get fired after this year. Hate to say it.
Running back battle's going to be fun, but I got to go with the Titans. I think they got the better overall offense and the better overall team. I mean, Damian Pierce has been the big bright spot for that team, though.
Yeah, but that's about it.
Commanders, Colts favored by 3.
I don't know if I like that the Colts are favored, especially with a rookie quarterback. This is his first game, Sam Ehlinger. I'm going to have to go with the Commanders. I think I like Taylor Heineke going up against the Colts than I do Sam Ehlinger going up against the Commanders. So I'm going to have to go Commanders here.
Telling you, Carson Wentz is going to lose yet another job. I've got to go the Commanders here. I like Taylor Heineke with that offense. He's going to be the guy that saves, Rivera from the firing standpoint. So, 49ers, Rams, Niners favored by 1.5. No Debo.
I don't think that's going to matter. I mean, it might, but the Rams, they haven't been I don't know. This one's 49ers always seem to have the Rams numbers, so I'm going to have to go to 49ers over the Rams here.
Now that McCaffrey's more adjusted to the offense, I got to go with the 49ers. I feel like they're going to break out here and have a pretty good game.
And who knows? Without Debo, maybe you can see Christian McCaffrey kind of being like that player in that offense.
That's what I'm thinking, but, Giants, Seahawks favored by 3.
I mean, Geno has shocked a lot of teams this year, and it would be nice to kind of see them win to put the Giants fans to talking, because a lot of them are like, oh, we're so good, and this and that, we're winning games. I'm like, yeah, barely. Barely 6-1.
They did beat 2 relevant teams. I will give them that. They beat the Ravens, a fringe relevant team, and then they beat the Titans, which have just really become relevant in the last few weeks.
I mean, the Ravens really, they beat the Bucks the other night, but I mean, I don't know. The Ravens are kind of a very interesting team this year. They've blown a lot of leads, and the Titans there, I mean, that was also at the beginning of the year too. So, actually, I don't know if it was the beginning of the year. It was probably like week 2 or something like that. But as far as this game goes, I don't know. I think I like the Giants a little bit better than the Seahawks. I mean, Saquon Barkley has really been helping the Giants become that dominant team in the NFC East. So I'm gonna have to go with the Giants here over the Seahawks. I don't know if I like that the Seahawks are the favorites.
I like the line, but I don't like the outcome. I gotta go with the Giants here. Again, we're kind of getting close, so I want to just quickly go over the Packers, Bills. Bills favored by 11. I think we both know who we're picking. I don't think we need to explain this one too much.
I'm going to go with the Bills, but I just don't think it's going to be as far of a away game as they think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. Rodgers, you can never count out Rodgers on prime time. You really can't.
It'll be a close game. I'm going to go with the Bills, though. I, again, didn't think we needed to discuss that too much because I feel like, the Bills are just that team right now.
Right.
Bengals, Browns, Bengals favored by 3.
Yeah, Bengals.
I might actually lean toward the Browns right now. And you want to know why? It's because no Jamar Chase right now. I feel like Kareem Hunt, he's on the chopping block, but Nick Chubb has really been the best running back all year so far. So
No, but the Bengals, I mean, yeah, no Jamar Chase, but they still have Higgins and Boyd. I think that
true.
they'll still find a way to win this game. Plus, they have Joe Mixon, too. So Joe Mixon's always in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as good as Nick Chubb, but he's always in that discussion, too, for top running backs.
All right. Well, Thursday night, we already know who we're picking here. Eagles, Texans. Just give it to the Eagles at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say,
okay.
That game I'm not going to watch because I do not want to see an onslaught at the hands of the Texans.
Eagles, we're both on board, so let's just go right to Tinkle on this. Yeah,
we didn't have it written down, but the Tinkle on this, if anybody saw, it was the ref calling the play, or calling a holding penalty, I want to say, and then Jamal Williams accidentally throws the ball at the ref while he's making the call for a penalty, and then the other ref is like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, oh man, it's my bad. I'm sorry. I accidentally threw the ball. It's my bad. Don't call me for a penalty. Yeah, I wasn't doing it on purpose to be a dick type of thing.
They were cool about it. They all were cool about it, so that was good.
You know what is also an honorary mention I want to talk about? I don't know if you saw, but was it Juju Smith-Schuster or something like that? Or what player was it, but was like shown in out of the game, and apparently like the refs are like right by him. He pulls out a piece of paper. It looks like he was writing his autograph, and then he's like, oh no, the refs weren't asking for my autograph. We were just talking about golf and stuff like that. Bullshit.
I forget who that was, but
no. There was no golf discussions. If you're talking about golf, there would not be no pad of paper or like a pen. I hate to say it, the refs definitely wanted some autographs, and for that, I think the ref should be
fired.
Should be fired for that.
Mike Evans is who you're thinking.
Oh yes, Mike Evans. That was, I think, after the game that he dropped a wide open reception. So that was like right after that loss. This was not even the Thursday night game where he actually caught that nice contested catch. No, this was the game where he dropped that wide open, could have been touchdown.
Yeah.
And the refs, like, clearly the refs still have some favoritism for the Bucks and Tom Brady, but it's still 3-5.
See, you picked that as the honorable mention. I should have mentioned this. I don't know if you guys saw, but Thursday night, Dan Orlovsky, a.k.a. the worst football analyst in the history of analysts. Of course, he's on ESPN Plus right now as we're premiering. But, again, who wants to listen to him, right? So Dan Orlovsky's in London calling the Broncos-Jags game as we speak. He was looking for a place to watch Thursday night football because apparently Amazon Prime doesn't work in London. So, of course, someone commented, you should check out Twitch because you'll be able to watch it there. Dan Orlovsky didn't even know what Twitch was. And Twitch they're like, what's Twitch? And Twitch tweeted back with the picture of Orlovsky with his foot in the back of the end zone saying, well, what's this?
Oh.
And so, so Twitch chose violence. Okay? Twitch chose violence. And then they, of course, kissed and made up. But, man. What a way to start out the Elon Musk era of Twitter. Take it however you will. I'm not gonna give an opinion on what I think of it. This is not a political show, so not gonna talk it. But with that, of course, tinkle on this to all of our recipients this week. This might be the biggest tinkle on this week I think we've seen in a while. But
I agree.
With that, what's coming up on No Final Bell?
So goodness. So we ended up having some more, build towards full gear and, having more matches and stuff like that. I mean, big world title match. A few other great matches that were happening on Dynamite. Rampage as well. I mean, of course, recording on a Friday. Rampage is going on right now, so I do not know exactly what's going on with that. But Dynamite was a very big show, but we will discuss that, of course, next episode of No Final Bell. What is coming out of Turn 4?
So, of course, program note, by the way. We are approaching the end of the racing season, so again, we'll have an episode Tuesday, November 1st. And then we will have our season finale November 8th after the NASCAR Cup Series Championship at Phoenix. So then we'll be off the air for the winter. We'll be back, late winter, beginning of the spring when NASCAR starts in February. So just want to throw that out there. I announced it on the last show. I'll announce it again this week. But of course, we'll have the Championship 4. Alex Bowman was cleared to return at Phoenix in a couple weeks, so that's great news. Of course, we did get some confirmation about another Daytona 500 entry, so we'll get to talk about that. Then, not too much other than that. We're kind of wrapping up silly season at this point. New crew chief for Austin Dillon coming. And then, of course, new crew chief for Noah Gragson when he moves over to Petty GMS. But, again, we'll recap Martinsville and predict the championship. So that'll be the big thing coming up this week. We're on at 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook Watch on Tuesday. Jason Marty will be on Wednesday. Same time, same channels. So we will see you then. And until then, goodbye, everyone.